SwoleBenji here. This is the definitive speedrunning Tier 5 solo dungeon guide. I'm going to go over exactly how it is that you speedrun a Tier 5 solo yellow dungeon, what gear you need, how much you can earn, and all of that we're all going to cover right here and right now. So let's start with the earnings. I tend to average about 1 million silver per hour. So let me show you what happened. In the last hour, not even 1 hour, my inventory filled up before I could even make it to the hour. Everything in this chest here is valued at 967,000 silver. I got this in under 1 hour. All right, and then I have 222 silver bags. That's 222,000 silver plus 967,000 silver. I also filled journals during this time, which are already in here. It was about 120 or so is how much I filled, basically. And then mercenary journals, it's a little bit more than that, but this last hour I already had them filled, so I didn't actually fill them, but you can fill both at the same time. All right. So that's the earnings. I usually average 1 million per hour. Sometimes I don't make as much, and sometimes I make way more. So, like, the most I've ever made is 4.5 million in 1 hour, and I got super lucky. Every chest was just banging. I got like 5 legendary chests. That almost never happens. So it's not something that I advertise, but it's something that can happen. All right. So let's talk about loot. Some people have the misunderstanding that Tier 5, they're talking about me in the English chat down there. Some people are mistaken when it comes to the loot. Tier 5 Yellow Zone dungeon loot cannot drop Tier 8 weapons or armor, but it can drop Tier 8 relics. They're rare, but it does happen, okay? So that's the only thing that Tier 5 Yellow Zone dungeons cannot drop is Tier 8 items, okay? But it can still drop 7.3 items. And if you get a 7.3 weapon or an armor, that's millions. If you, like, here's a flat 6 Avalonian shield. Just flat 6, it's worth 311,000. Things like this drop all the time. Like, here's a flat 7 bag, 65,000. These things drop all the time, constantly. Look, I even got a Tier 7 weapon. That's 51k. These can be enchanted as well. They can be high quality, sometimes masterful quality. The point is that I can clear a floor in 1 minute 45 seconds on average, even faster if I get a shrine buff. Corrupted dungeons limit your IP, and they can be risky if you're in Stalker or higher. Red Zone dungeons are constantly ESP'd, camped, and even patrolled. Guilds cannot control a yellow zone. Guilds can control red and black zones. If you die in a red or black zone, you die and you drop everything. You cannot speedrun a red or a black zone dungeon unless you're like an arch, and even then, eventually someone comes to kill you anyway. Or your own team looks at your gear, it's incredibly juicy, and then they kill you, and you know what happens in Arch when another Archling kills you? They get chewed out. That's it. They don't, like, there's no punishment. They don't have to repay the gear. You lose the gear, they get an ass chewing, and that's it. So, if you use 8.3 gear in a yellow zone dungeon, you will clear it extremely ultra hyper fast, and if you get a red or a blue shrine buff, you will clear it even faster. Much faster than any corrupted dungeons. Look at my previous videos. This is the best way to farm silver in the game while also getting fame credits or fame for your builds. If you've watched my previous videos, you'll note that I get insane amounts of fame credits by doing this. And if you have the silver, you can wear the satchel and get even more. Like my last video, I used all of my fame credits, and I'm already up to 3.3 thousand. And this is being filmed maybe an hour or two after that last video. I'm already up 3 million, which is 6.6 something million fame credit or fame. All right, now let's go over the build. I've went over this in several of my other videos, but we're going to do it again because this is the definitive guide. The Elder's Stalker Hood. It doesn't have to be Tier 8. This could be 4.1. I just simply have Tier 8 because I can afford it. This one, the tier will not make you clear faster. It just gives you more health and more mana, which you don't even need mana. Okay? And you're going to use Mortal Agony. This is a damage buff, which I will talk about later, and an armor shred. And of course, you're going to use the damage passive. Spectre Jacket. This has to be 8.3, and you need high specs. You need very high specs for it. It's preferable if you have 8.3 Masterpiece, but that's really expensive. Even I can't afford that, and they're not really on sale anyway. But you're going to use Self-Ignition and Balanced Mind. Now, the Royal Sandals can be 4.1 or flat 4, it doesn't matter. Having higher tier Royal Sandals will not increase your clear speed. It just makes you tankier, have more mana, more health. That's it. You don't need it. But they're cheap, so why not? I mean, for me, they're only 1.6 million. Which is cheap for me, but maybe not for you. But once you start getting the ball rolling, that's like an hour and a half, tops. So you might as well, right? You're going to use Defenseless Rush, which is a movement speed and a damage buff with the passive aggression. For the food, you're going to use cabbage soup. You can use fish if you want, but cabbage soup is 270% regeneration. It's also pretty dang affordable for the amount of percentage of regeneration you get. You absolutely need this, otherwise you won't have any health for pulls. I just use a healing potion. You can use poison potions if you want. You don't need poison potions because the bosses melt instantly. I only carry these around if I'm fighting another player in the open world. Like, I rode my mount through like 5 dudes and they creamed me, and I wasn't paying attention, I was watching YouTube. But having a potion kept me alive a little bit longer, you know? If there was 4 dudes, I would have escaped, it's fine. For the offhand, the Crypt Candle. Now, 8.3 Crypt Candle is 50 million, but the 6.3 is only 452,000. It's slightly weaker when it comes to your damage bonus, and yeah, eventually I want to make this 8.3 Masterpiece, but that's a long way away, and you don't need it. But you absolutely need the highest possible Crypt Candle you can afford, which for me is 6.3. For the cape, I recommend Caerleon Cape, which 4.1 works tier 4. It's like 38 seconds cooldown. If you don't like the Caerleon Cape, you can also use an 8.3 Thetford Cape. This is better for trash clearing and entering the dungeon trash. Caerleon Cape is just better speed clearing, in my opinion. And for the bag, you can use any bag. If you're loaded, use a satchel. And that is the gear. Alright, now before you leave to do your tier 5 yellow zone random dungeons, make sure you have full food and potions. Make sure that you're faction flagged. I am faction flagged for Bridgewatch. That's what this little orange icon to the right of my name means. Go to the faction outpost master, which is right here. Well, for Bridgewatch, it's right here. You talk to this person and you click flag, and there you go. You're ready to go. You want to make sure you're faction flagged because you will be earning faction points, which is just more money. And when you're faction flagged and you're 3 zones away, you will receive 15% more loot and 15% more fame. So there's no reason not to. You cannot be killed in a yellow zone. You will only be downed, and you will only lose durability and pay a repair bill. In my current gear, I pay about 100,000 in repairs, and if I have a full inventory of items, just random weapons and armor from the dungeons, those will also receive damage, and that was about 70,000 when it happened to me earlier. I rode through a Limhurst blob, and they got me because they were already dismounted. I wasn't paying attention. I didn't think a Limhurst blob would be camping outside a Bridgewatch when the damn area isn't even captured. So that's my bad for not paying attention to the screen. Anyway, one other thing I also wanted to cover was the mount. I use a Snow Husky because they can run at 132%, and they have this cool ability that makes them run 90% faster, which is really, really handy to have. You don't want to use this when you're in the zone that you will be farming with, though, because this puts your boot ability on a 1-minute cooldown. Also, this Husky will move slow once its cooldown ends. All you got to do is dismount and remount, and it takes away that debuff. So that makes it extremely easy to travel far distances very quickly. Alright, here I am in the zone 3 tiles away. Here's Bridgewatch. So that's 1, 2, 3, or from this zone 1, 2, and 3. You can see in the top left here, it says that I am level 3. This is the highest it goes. You receive 15% more fame, silver, and loot for participating in the faction's war effort. Now, what I recommend that you do if you're new to a zone, you take the map here, you make it as big as possible while fitting it on your screen, and hit print screen, paste it into paint, and then start marking the map every time you find a solo random dungeon. The solo random dungeons are the dungeons that have a green light emitting out of rocks, and they spawn in the same places every day. Sometimes they spawn as corrupted dungeons. Here's one now. So I would open my map and put a little dot there in paint. That way, once I have it all mapped out, I can see where all the big clusters are. I have yet to actually do this because I was putting little cages around the zone to mark it that way, but someone kept destroying my cages. So don't put placeables. Someone will just come by and smash them. So once you enter the dungeon, you're going to have that 10-second cooldown. You need to just start auto-attacking a mob. And when you're high spec and you have 8-3, you'll get a feel of how much damage you do. You always want to be moving forward. Alright? So here's some tricks that you can use while doing the dungeons, okay? We're going to eat our cabbage soup, very first thing. Now, the cool thing about Spectre Jacket, alright, is that if you pre-buff your damage... So I'm gonna use my boots and my helmet, so I'm now pre-buffed on damage. You see the damage icons up here. I'm gonna press R. Now watch when they run out, okay? So now my jacket, it's still doing 202 damage every half a second. Now I'm gonna show you this again without the damage buffs, and see how much damage it does. It's like 180 something, right? But I'll talk more about that later. Every single room that you encounter in these solo random dungeons is a puzzle. You're going to factor in how much damage your abilities do, and what the setup of the room is in order to speed clear it, okay? So we can see here that these guys will die instantly to 1Q, so I'm just going to Q them, they're dead. Alright, this lady, this witch, will die in 1E. These guys will survive the E-blast. Now, I'm not saying to stand here and wait for the patrol, because you're going to be constantly moving forward when you do these. But I'm going to wait for her to go over there. I'm going to press E on her. And now, these guys are all going to take the explosion, but I failed the pull. So now I have to Q them. So that's one extra cooldown I had to use. So let's talk about the Spectre Jacket. Let me find another room that isn't low armor bats or low armor one-shottable mobs like this guy. And as you practice your aim, you can blow up more mobs with the Q ability. Alright, so here's some mobs. I'm going to use my jacket without damage buffs. It was doing 202, now it's doing 162. That's 40 less damage per half second. Okay? And that's why I'm using the Crypt Candle. And this guy actually reset, how embarrassing. That's why I use the Crypt Candle. That's why I'm using the boots I'm wearing and the helmet I'm wearing. For bosses... You're going to armor shred him first thing, press E, spam your Qs. When he's at half health, like right now, each of these health bars is 20% life. So when it gets under halfway in the middle, that's when you press D on him. It's going to armor shred him, and your abilities will basically do double damage. And he will die incredibly fast. Hold shift and left click the items to move them into your inventory instantly. Alright, I'm going slow here so I can explain everything to you. Now, every single mob is a puzzle. This guy is beefy. It's going to take 2 Q spells to kill him. Watch. There's 1 and 2. Well, I didn't have it on cooldown. But I could kill him in 1 E spell because he only has like 900 something health. Here's another one. Like I said, every room is a puzzle, okay? Normally, you just press F, you press D, you press R, and you just run through the mobs that can die really fast like this. You press Q at the feet of one mob, and then you keep moving. You just constantly keep moving, and that is how you can blow these. You can blow up a floor in 1 minute and 45 seconds this way. All right, like these mobs, my armor is about to run out, but I can just run past them. See, I didn't even have to stop, except for this one. Now, your auto attack is another ability. See how he has 16 HP? Well, I could Q him, or I can just press spacebar while right-clicking away from him, and I will stutter step and shoot my auto attack. Now, here's the thing about auto attacks. You can use an ability immediately as you launch an auto attack, but you cannot auto attack after launching an ability. So let me explain. I'm going to press Q on this Morgana Footman, and then I'm going to hammer spacebar. Watch how long it takes. And there we go. I had to wait the whole cooldown of Q to be able to do it. Let me just kill these guys. So, you need to learn how to stutter step. So, let's go over it with this book on the floor as soon as I target him. Well, he's a little hard to target. I'm going to wait till he grows into a demon. So, I'm going to left click him and then immediately press Q and watch what happens. So, fire, boom. See that? I was able to launch an auto attack and immediately Q him. And that's how you stack your damage up if you need to. But as you play the game with your character and your gear set, you will get to know your damage very well as you do hundreds of these. So here's like another puzzle. It's 2 Qs to kill these guys, and it's 1 E or 2 Q. So I'm going to E the big guy, and I'm going to Q the middle once. There we go. And they should... Those guys are dead, and then Q him once. So I did that in 2 Qs and 1 E. Now here's another puzzle. Like I said, every pull is a puzzle, and the tile sets are the same. The enemies are always the same. So you start to do this with a no-brainer. I have 2 Qs piled up. I'm going to just dump it on this guy, move him over here, bunch them together, and then hit Q. And he's still alive. I'm going to auto-attack him, and then kill the last guy. Now, once you have 8-3 armors, you have a lot more health and tankability, right? So you can just rush down the boss, okay? So, bosses, you can shred them at 50% with your armor going, or you can use both buffs and then have your armor going. It's about the same DPS. I'll do it without pre-buffing my damage. So I'm going to use the boots, I'm going to run to the boss, press R, I'm just going to spam my Qs, and then it's at half health, I'm pressing D, press E on it, like, it's already dead. You don't really have to think much about what you're doing, because you do so much damage that they die immediately. Then you just loot the chest, and then you move on to the next dungeon. Here we are at the next dungeon. I want to talk about dungeon types real quick. Alright, so this type of dungeon is a Grove Keeper or Earth Keeper dungeon. It's still up in the air what it's officially called. Alright, now if you don't see any starter mobs here at the entrance, it could be implied that another player is in here. Now, the Grove Keeper, Earth Keeper dungeons, they give the most fame per hour. The Morgana dungeons, which is what we just did, you know, with the creepy goth girls. Not really creepy, but that is the best treasure or money earns per hour. Heretic dungeons are generally the worst, but they should not be skipped because they can have some good stuff in them. Now, when it comes to speed clearing dungeons, you can either do it mindlessly while you listen to music and watch YouTube, or you can put a lot of thought into it, but really, like, the clear speed isn't that much different. Like, normally I would just skip this because I don't really care too much about the fame. And you get to learn each buff shrine will have the same effect. So I'm going to E her, Q them, and that is going to weaken her down to an auto. While I'm already focusing on this guy, shooting my Qs, I don't have to stop moving. I can just keep going. I'm going to speed run this one while I talk. It's a little awkward, but let's group all these dudes up because they all die in 1 Q. There you go. They're all dead. And my Q's already back. No other weapon except for the Arcane Staff will do that, but the Arcane Staff does not have the damage that the Light Crossbow has. Okay, I'm going to E this guy, Q in the middle, hopefully get these guys over for the explosion. I failed, so another Q and an auto will finish them off. Very nice. The next set of mobs, I'm going to run at them. I'm going to press my D, press my R, hit Q once, and just keep moving. He's a little big guy, though. These guys, hit him Q one time. I should be able to walk through, wound this guy to one shot of a Q, and there you go. Now, these guys I can just walk by. I don't even need to shoot them. Same, I'm just going to E him and keep walking, and he'll die. See? Easy. Now I have a double shot for the next pull. I'm going to use 2 shots, because this guy dies in 2 hits. He moved forward, though. I wasn't fast enough, but that's okay. Kill him with an auto. And now we're at the boss. So, I'm going to open with Armor Shred. Always open with Armor Shred, because the way Crossbow works is you shred more armor if they're at a higher % life. And he's at 50% there. I don't have to dodge this, but I'm doing it anyway. When he's at 50%, remember, press your D, your helmet, and you'll Armor Shred him, and that will make your damage do way, way more. Now, I could activate my armor here, and I should, but I didn't, because, well, I'm making plenty of mistakes. It's actually kind of hard to think and talk at the same time. 26,000 is how much the loot we just got from this chest, and then 8,000 from the silver, so that is 34,000. And we did that in like, what, 2 minutes? And I was taking my time. Now, some people have argued in the comments that it takes a long time to find the green yellow zone dungeons. It does not. Because, see, look, I just left, and there's one right here. It's seconds. I can't even enter it. I'm out so fast. I'm trying not to aggro the lady here. I still have my fame buff from the last dungeon. See that orange piss glow? My character smells like piss. Now, like I said, you want to start auto-attacking, because I can't use any abilities for 10 seconds. And these guys would die in 1 Q anyway, but you don't want to leave them at the entrance. That gives other players a false sense that this dungeon is available. Alright, so let's go. And grab the buff. It's if it's a red or a blue one, you're in good hands. But if it's this green one, which is the Reflect Regeneration one, not so much. That doesn't really help your clear speed. Because we have the cabbage soup, we're not gonna ever be hurt between pulls. I'm going to pop the book here, and then I'm just going to do a wide turn so that the armor takes care of him. The armor did not, so I had to shoot a Q. Or an auto attack would have worked. I'm at full mana anyway. You get some mana back when you kill a mob, by the way. Remember, every pull is a puzzle. These guys are a little beefier. I'm going to pull them back, bunch them up, hit them with a Q. I missed this mob twice, so I failed. So I could have done that pull in 3 less Q spells. But I'm still moving forward. I've only lost maybe like half a second of time. It's not a big deal. We're gonna activate our armor, just blow these guys up. There's sometimes a shrine down here. I'm gonna check. You will learn what tile sets have buff shrines. You should always check if you don't already have at least half of a red buff. I can walk through these guys and they will die. I don't even have to stop. Well, okay, I had to turn back around because they both stopped to cast spells. Dang it, I know. Sometimes they don't, sometimes they do. If you just do a little jiggle, you know, like put on the brakes for a sec. Now, these chests, these little fire chests, you can ignore them. As long as they don't hit you and you don't hit them, then they don't count as an active alerted mob, and you can still loot the dungeon boss chest without ever touching them. But if you want to kill them, you can. They die really fast. Like, you can just hit them with an E and a Q and then walk off and boom, they're dead. And that's like 600 fame. It's not bad. Now, these are trash mobs. I'm just going to use my armor to take them out so I don't have to stop and shoot any Qs. Save a little bit of time. These guys are a little beefy, so I'm going to throw a Q down. I'm going to do a little jiggle there so they get melted. Here's the boss. It's a tome chest. I'm not even going to loot the tome chest, because it's only 2,000 fame. Guess how much these crows are worth? 1,600 each. So, there you go. I just made the tome chests in, like, what, 2 spells? So... Well, 1,100, I guess. So you can see that looting the tome chest, huge waste of time. I usually do it for the videos because I'm trying to catalog. Now, here's a tile with a buff shrine. So you want to make sure that your boots and your armor aren't active when you pick this up, so it can refresh the cooldown. The blue will always refresh your cooldown. The red sometimes refreshes your cooldowns and makes you run faster. So it's always worth it. Also, this guy, you want to walk past him and then shoot him so he can push you forward, and that's just a little speed boost for you. Save a couple seconds. You know, if you do 100 dungeons, that's at least a couple minutes saved. The big, fat, tanky guy, I shoot him once with a Q. I'm just going to auto-attack the crow. Screw it. Remember, armor shred the boss, press E, press Qs, and when it gets half health, we're going to armor shred her. So she's about half. Armor shred, another armor shred, why not? And then we're just going to dump Qs into her face. And this is a really slow boss clear. I could have done this way better if I didn't use my armor earlier, but hey, that's just how it is sometimes. Like, I don't put a lot of thought into it, and this is 13,000, so it's not the best chest, because especially since it's an epic chest, and sometimes you strike out. Now, if you've watched my other videos, you will know exactly how loot works, okay? I know some of you are thinking, well, if you did that in a tier, hey, let's see what hey, he's using the build. Awesome. Now, some of you guys will remember that, like, oh, if that was a tier 7 dungeon, if you were in the black zone, bro, that would have been like 300,000. That's not how that works. It might be like 24 to 30,000, maybe. And it'd take you 3 times as long. You'd be risking gear. All right, I don't see any mobs here. Okay, there's a mob. So, the way it works is every single time you open a chest, you're spinning the reels of a slot machine, okay? Think of it like gambling. The more spins you get, the more you will earn, right? And the more chances of you hitting a juicy jackpot. So, I'm just kind of zoned out here. I didn't do that efficiently. While I explain, it's a little hard to explain and put brain power into this game. I've been playing it for very long today. And I know, oh, this isn't a definitive guide. No, this is like more of like a let's play that's also a guide. That's how all the Minecraft YouTubers are doing it, so that's how I'm doing it. It's apparently people like it, this style. So there you go. But the more times you get to spin that reel, the more you're gonna win, and the more chances of you hitting a jackpot are. Now, yeah, your jackpots won't be as big. Sure, you do a tier 8 and you hit that big jackpot, you're gonna make like 3 or 4 million, sure. But when I hit a jackpot, I'm hitting 1 to 2 million. And when I hit lesser jackpots, I'm making 3 to 500,000. Okay? And Sure, the lesser jackpots in the tier 8s might be like 600 to 800,000. Sure. I'm not going to say that it isn't, because it absolutely is, but it's going to take you 10 minutes instead of 1 minute. And it's also going to, eventually you're going to lose that gear you're using, and you can't clear as fast as me in a tier 8. Even if I'm using 8-3 in a tier 8, it's slower. And the second anyone spots me in full 8-3 out in a red or black zone, I'm being hunted down. People will wake up their friends while they are sleeping to log on and hunt you down. It's not just a YouTuber problem. It's not because I'm a YouTuber and everyone like knows my name. It's legit. They will log in from what they're doing and they will hunt you down and take your loot because you are just begging to be murdered and looted when you wear that amount. Alright, we have the red buff. I'm using my run speed. I'm going to use my helmet. I'm going to activate my armor. And everything just melts at this point. This is where the speed run truly like cranks into overdrive. I don't have to stop for her. Do a little jiggle, boom, done. Just run through these guys. Do a little spin. Okay, well that guy had to go back for just a little bit, maybe 2 steps. It's fine. You can throw a Q out, kill these punks. While killing these punks, hit the boss, lure the boss into the mob so everyone blows up. Didn't work. Didn't work out. I swear this works out way more when I'm not constantly talking and trying to explain exactly what I'm doing. Also, if I had my armor ability for the boss, it would be dead much faster. And we made 14 plus 12, that is 26,000 silver. Alright. And then I'm going to use my run ability again, because why not? Hit my armor for that damage buff, and then press R before they run out, so now I have that damage stacked. And it's just beautiful. We're doing so much freaking damage. And I can just run through them, look at that. Just do a little jiggle. These guys are beefier. I had to throw 1 Q at the ground, and there you go. If you know you're not going to encounter mobs for a while, you can turn your armor off early so that the cooldown starts counting down, because the cooldown won't be working towards you until it stops. Same with your boots. You don't ever have to cancel your boots early, though, because that propels you forward. I'm trying to bunch these guys all up into one little ball. And there you go. Because I'm not going to auto down the tree monster. And then I'm going to get the melee mobs near the girl mobs, because the girl mobs are ranged. And I wanted to kill that in 1 Q, but I ended up spending 3 Qs. It happens. Don't beat yourself up. You can't do every single pull perfectly. And yes, I'm aware 1E would kill that. I'm aware. I know. And do a little jiggle. There's a boss in here. Hit these guys with a single Q. Now we're going to move next to the boss and then armor shred him, because our armor is currently on and he's already dead. Grab the fame buff shrine, and there we go. Now at the top left, you can see that our cape is on cooldown, but we have a 3 stack, which means we can double Q these guys. They're instantly dead. Don't need to cast E. This guy I can cast E on and keep walking. I don't even need to stop. Just keep walking. See? Now the bears are a little tankier, and so is this guy. So essentially, I'm just going to keep walking forward. They're all bunched up. 1 more Q should kill both. There we go. These guys died in 1 Q. And then I'm going to use my boots. Hit her with an E because she's the beefy one. I missed my Q because I was I'm cross-eyed tired at this point, guys. I've been up super late. I thought I'd just make one more video before bed, you know? Hit these guys with autos while I stutter step away from them. See? Hit the wizard with a Q. Kill these 3. He's dead. I have my armor for the boss. So I'm going to cast my armor, hit him with the armor shred, and hit him with Qs. Hit him with the D armor shred. He's taking big damage. He's already dead. Loot the chest. 8 plus 4, that's 12k. And how many minutes? How many minutes did that take? So the definitive speedrunning guide is that you need to think of each room like a puzzle. I know I've said that a lot today. Every room is like a puzzle, and how can you best defeat it? And I know I haven't hit any jackpots in this video, and that's okay. Sometimes you don't hit jackpots. Also, the time of day that you play is dependent on the black market as well. Like right now, I am playing 4 hours before prime time, which is still pretty bad. Hey, it's one of my cages. Yeah. Someone's going to smash that with a demo hammer. Alright, see, we've already found another dungeon, but I accidentally pulled this cougar. I know all the cougars love me. What's not to love about this body, which you guys have yet to see? One day, I'll show it off one day. I don't know how many subs. Maybe 40k, 80k, 100k? What do you guys think? Alright, so the undead dungeons are generally the worst. Same with Heretic. But the pulls are very easy. So I'm just doing my armor, hit him with a Q, run by, hit this guy with a Q, do a little twirly twirl. Throw the Q in between both these mobs so that they both die. While I'm still propelled forward here. I haven't really had to backtrack. I haven't had to sit on top of a mob. Just hit him with a single Q as I run by him. I can dump 2 Qs into this guy because my armor's about to run out. And that's fine. He's dead. He also dropped the looties. Nothing good. You always want to check the loot though because it could be tomes. Like the 30,000 tomes. This guy's going to explode, kill both of them. The undeads are a really good way to learn how to pull. I'm going to auto Q him. Auto him again while I Q the statue here. And then I'm going to auto that to finish it off. 2 Qs and the archers are dead. And I have my armor ability back up for the next big pull, which is, I guess, the boss. So I'm going to bunch everyone up together and just spam Q at the ground. Just Q'd the boss down. It's fine. Our food buff is still up. You want to make sure your food buff's up, otherwise your health will drop very rapidly. Just run over, hit him with a Q, run away. Already dead. Remember, the beefy boys are these undead knights with the big thick plate armor. Those are the ones that take a little bit more oomph. Hit this guy with a Q. It's going to blow up the rats. Or, I'm sorry, an E. Buff Shrine. Auto this guy. Q him. Q him again. What do we get? Blue Shrine. That's fine. I'm going to activate Helmet before activating Armor so that my Spectre Jacket does more damage. And I should be able to run past these 2 guys without stopping at all. And there we go. He dropped an item, though. Ooh, what is that? Look at that. Demon Armor. 12,000. Not bad. It's always cool to see stuff like that. And I'm gonna E the knight. Now here's the thing that I haven't explained yet. If you press E and put a mine, an exploding mine on a mob, and then you kill the mob before the mine explodes, the mine will explode but deal no damage to anybody. So if you mine a target, don't hit him anymore. Just resist the urge to kill him, let him explode, and then kill him. That way he hurts his allies too. Now these guys are a little too beefy to auto, so I'm just waiting on my cooldowns. I'm going to E the wizard, Q them once, and then the E takes care of it. Now I have a blue buff, so I'm going to trade that and hope for a red. I got another blue, and that's okay. Blue is okay. It's the green ones we don't want. Should be able to just run past these dudes. Well, I keep saying that and I keep failing. It was working until I hit record, I swear. Alright, same deal. Hit it E, hit the Q, just keep moving. Just keep moving. Hit the Qs. I got a double Q there. I kind of missed the middle though, but that's fine. As you can see, it's still ridiculously fast. These guys are beefy, so I'm going to E and then Q. And Q the survivor. That's fine. Hit them with more Qs. Now these guys you can kill before they blow up. They don't give too much fame. Now here is, there's two pathways, right? There's up right and down left. Down left looks like the boss. See, there you go. I chose correctly. This is something that you learn over time. And I know I could have E'd this guy and he would have been dead by now, but I wasn't thinking. Alright, we got 9,000 in this chest. Kind of crappy for a blue chest, and that happens. Alright, I've got 2 Qs I can hit both these dudes with, and then I'll just finish him with a 3rd Q. I'm going to hit E on the wizard. It's going to blow all these up. There you go, see? Just one spell. I didn't have to stop. This guy's a twofer. And you could aggro both of these before you even start shooting Qs, which is what I should do, but my brain is turned off at this point. I'm not really thinking. I'm just pushing buttons and holding right click to move my character forward. Like, I'm not really putting a lot of thought into it. This is a purple boss, because I can tell by the outline of the room. So I'm going to armor shred him immediately, press E. It's going to aggro the room and then reset the room. It's kind of weird. But see, everything's already dead. He didn't even get to cast his Spectre armor. Everything's already dead. Now, let's see if this is big loot. This is 18 plus 12, so that is 30,000. And that took how long, guys? It barely took any time. I can't share how many points I've earned. I started with like 2,000 today. So it's been like an hour and 20 minutes. I don't know. But What's our fame at? 3.9. Oh, look, it just respawned. Now, here's the thing. These disappear in the yellow zone after 60 seconds. You don't have to wait at the entrance like a red zone or a black zone. You can just go. Now, here's the cool thing, too. If you're afraid of being ganked inside a dungeon, the only people that can hurt you in a yellow zone while you're faction flagged is the enemy faction. So don't enter a dungeon if the enemy faction sees you. But if another player enters your dungeon, you're an 8-3. You're an 8.3 because you watch my videos. So, like, you can steal the bosses. You can just run ahead and kill the bosses and they don't get any loot. Right? I can literally run ahead of players. Like, this is one of the fastest boots in the game besides the hover boots. Whatever they're fucking called. I forget right now. But, you also melt everything that you walk across. Like, if another player in, like, 4-2 is trying to steal your dungeon and, like, I'm just melting everything I just go to the boss and it's gonna melt. It's literally gonna die in seconds. Like, it's already dead, right? You've already done half the freaking health bar, so the loot is yours. So other players will not be able to steal your dungeons. No one can, like, if a flagged PK player enters your dungeon, you know, someone flagged up for PvP, they can't interact with you unless they are faction flagged, okay? Faction flagged players cannot be attacked by PvP flagged players. They can only be attacked by people of the opposite faction. That's it. Now, you'll notice the exit to this room is up and left, but I always check this corner because there's a shrine. And it's worth getting the shrines. It's worth the slight detour. Because if this was a red buff, I'd be halfway through by now, man. So always, like, learn the tile sets and learn the hidden shrines. And then, like I said, you'll get a feel for how much damage your character currently does, and you will be able to very easily judge how much damage you're doing. This is a purple boss up this way. Can already tell you, see how the hue or the color scheme of the screen changed? Look at this. I don't even have to shoot those two. Get out of our home, takers. By the way, look at the butt crack. Oh man, show me that butt. Let me position her away. Look at that butt crack. Look at it. Yeah, did you guys expect that in this video? Now, let's see those bazongas. Turn that body around. There we go. Nope, turn her around. There we go. Look at her bounce. Woo! Alright, so that's not speedrun etiquette. But here you go. 27 plus 12. That's 39k. You see, it's that easy. It's extremely easy, and you can do this while watching YouTube. There's no stress. You're not looking out of the corners of your screen, sweating bullets, getting sweaty hands, greasing up your keyboard. You know? Ooh, little tier 5 boots. I'm just gonna shoot her with a mine and boop. Like, once you get a hang of the flow of using your abilities and pressing Q while running past mobs with your literal fire armor. This is like, I forget the spell from Path of Exile, but I don't know, but it's like that. It reminds me of that. You just run through the mobs. You don't even have to stop. And I get it, like, great axe, you can kind of run through the mobs, but you're doing barely any damage. This armor does more damage than great axe. Okay? Oh, great axe has a movement speed. Yeah, it also has like a 30 freaking second cooldown. It also can't two-shot mobs with a Q spell. Now, this is a very bad pull. I really mismanaged this one. Because I keep missing my Q on the lady here. So I'm just going to finish her with the autos, and there we go. But we're still moving forward. We're not backtracking. Hit them with the E and the Q. And one more Q, that'll do it. Now, if you're really good, you'll watch the top left of your screen, and you'll get a count. Because when this says 3, that means you can shoot 2 Qs. When your cape icon is gone, that means you can shoot 2 Qs. So if you combine both, you can shoot 3 Qs, okay? So you wait for the count to be 2, like it is right now, and you wait for your cape. You don't really wait. But you, watch this. Boom, boom, boom. 3 Qs, and this guy, 3 Qs and an auto, he's dead. He died in one literal global cooldown. Hit him with the Q. Try to angle the babes around him. Failed. Just gonna shoot him twice. And we're already at the boss. I'm just gonna run at the boss. Just gonna frickin' hit my helmet. Turn on my armor. Hit him with the armor shred. Spam my Qs. Look at it, he's already freaking halfway. He's gonna cast his little AoE attack. It's fine. I get stunned for 0.001 seconds because I'm in 8.3. And 13 plus 6. See, look, a tier 8 room. You can get tier 8 relics too. It's not I mean, it's sometimes rare. But sometimes you get like a stack of 20 of them. That's like a couple million. Because they're like 100,000 each or something. Yeah. I've gotten like 21 before at 100,000, easy. And like I said, if you're having trouble finding tier 5 dungeons, like sometimes this can be, like, if you see a corrupted dungeon, that is a spawn point. That can be a random dungeon. Sometimes you get unlucky and the entire zone is just filled with corrupted dungeon spawns, and if no one's running corrupted dungeons, then they will sit there all damn day. So just go to another yellow zone. Just go one more tile over, you'll still have your 50% buff, and everything will be good. Alright, I don't know what else I can show you of how to speed run your 5 dungeons. Also, try not to get hit by the mobs because it slows your mount down. You could use a lizard if you want to run through mobs, but they don't run as fast as the husky. So, you could also use a stag or a moose because they have a really fast gallop. Technically, the moose is better than the lizards. Like, I spent 20 million on a Avalonian basilisk, and it's been outclassed by the freaking moose. But it's still a Gucci mount. I'm not even using it anymore. It's just a huge waste of money. I wish they would discontinue it so it becomes like a vintage mount. See, now this is the first time in this entire video that I have spent more than, oh, there you go. I was gonna say that I've spent more than a minute looking for a dungeon. But I've already found another one. And if you're worried about players entering these, they don't. If you're 3 tiles away from town, people don't run this because they are poisoned by the Redditors and the Discord's idea that you need to be running tier 6s, tier 7s, tier 8s, that you're not a man. They're peer pressured. You know all the people that do drugs and smoke and get tattoos? Those are the ones doing the tier 8 dungeons and losing their gear and having a bad time and stressing out in a video game. Like, why would you ever play that way? Like, what? I didn't use my helmet. I messed up. See, now my armor's only doing 182 damage when I walk by. But even if you don't, it's still plenty of damage. It's still a lot of damage. And if I had an 8... Oh, my food buff's out. Look at my health. Look at my health drain. My food buff is out. So I need to eat another food buff. See, look at this. Without the food buff, I'm just taking big damage in between pulls. Alright, so I'm guessing the boss is up here. Now, if you go 2 tile movements and you don't see the boss, then backtrack because you messed up. But usually, like, you get a feel for where the bosses are. Sometimes these piles look like they have item drops. You can check them, you can backtrack if you want. You don't want to miss a tome. Alright, so, see, I have no food buff, so I'm only at half HP. I'm just gonna run up and then we're gonna save my armor shred, my helmet armor shred, for when this boss gets to half. So I timed that with my E-explosion, and you can see that they die really fast. Come on, be a big boy. 44 plus 18, that's 62,000. Also a tier 5 map. We could use the tier 5 map while we're out, but it's a better value to sell them. Even if you hit a legendary chest in these things, they're not really that worth it. I've ran so many of these damn maps, and the maps can send you all the way across the zone, giving you more travel time. I have ran every tier of map except for like tier 8s. Consecutively, or 8-2s, something like that, you know, the weird ones, the weird numbered ones, and none of them are worth it. None of them are worth it at all. You should sell every map. The economy is based around how valuable the map is, and I still don't have my food buff on. I'm aware of that, so it's actually risky to use my armor here, and yeah, like, look at my health just drain away. You can actually slow down your speed, your clear speed, if you have to wait to heal before you engage a boss. Because I'm getting close to the boss room here, and I won't have the HP to fully engage it. Maybe? Well, yeah, it's Arthos again. I can already tell by the way the room is set up. I should be healed enough to fight him, as long as I don't use my armor until I reach him. So just to prove that I know the tile sets, like, it's guaranteed Arthos, which is the big boy. It's a bigger version of this mob that throws the rocks. So 2 more pulls and we're at the boss, and we'll have our armor buff for him, for absolute sure. And I have a 3 charge, so I'm gonna shoot that first at him, and then I'm gonna do my armor. And then I saved my helmet so I can shred him right here. That way he gets hit by the E-explosion and the armor shred, and there we go. That is 27 plus 6, so that's 33. Got a tier 7 relic. Really nice, really good. And look at our inventory. It's almost already full. We've filled 34 journals. Here's our fame, 4.1 million. I didn't check my silver, but I do have the satchel active. So that's the definitive speedrunning guide. I don't know how many more videos I'm going to make on running tier 5 dungeons, but everyone's like, how do you do so much damage? How are you doing it so fast? This video should explain the whole shebang. We went a little over 30 minutes, and if we take away the tome cost, that's 70k. There's 100,000. Look at that. We made 100,000 just in silver bags in a little over 30 minutes, because our food buff did run out a bit before then, and I was going extra slow because I was explaining things. Alright, and I'm not in the zone because I'm not listening to music while I make these videos. 100,000 silver right there, and then 394. So we made like, let's round up to 500. That's 494,500, 500k in 30-ish minutes, while being slow and explaining things and pointing out stuff on the. You get the idea. I'm SwoleBenji. Thanks for watching. As always, be a bro and stay swole, and I'll see you in the next one.